Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. Your number one stop for stellar reviews of volumes, arcs, or stories that us or yourselves choose. You can find us live every Wednesday on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and the replay on all podcast networks. Take a seat, get yourselves and your opinions ready, as it's time to join the herd. But first, please put your hands together for your hosts, Shane, Phil, Scott, and Martin, as they kick off this week's discussion. Hello, welcome to the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. We are so damn close to the end of season 3. We're 5 books away, this book including the 5th one. Can we change the top 10 in between now and then? Who knows? I'm looking forward to it anyway. I always like this part. This kind of feels like the bit of a finish line. Really looking forward to it. I like seeing what we can come up with. You know, we had the Magic Order last year, and that was like the last pick, and that blew us away. Anyway, I digress. Hello, I'm Scott. I'm joined by Shaney Boy.
Hoi hoi.
Martin.
Even though.
And Silly Philly.
Hello, I'm so glad to be back. It's been 3 weeks since I've been on the site.
3 whole weeks.
On your screens. I'm sure people
you
are
gone?
thinking, huh?
Were you gone?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Welcome back.
my
Welcome back.
goodness.
I missed you, Phil. I missed
Mate.
you.
I'm just
I'll
thinking
miss you,
about our
buddy.
audience. Our audience definitely missed me, I'm sure.
They did. Of course they
Somebody
did.
missed me, please.
Today, we are talking about Poison Ivy, Volume 1, The Virtuous Cycle, as chosen by Steve from our Herd's Choice last week. We had some good contenders last week, but this one ended up winning. And I'm going to say, without spoilers, I was pleasantly surprised. This book collects issues 1 to 6, written by Willow Wilson, artist. The art was Danny and others. There's quite a few people in here. Colors was Trish Mulvihill and others. And the letters, here we go, Asan Otsmane Elhau.
Brilliant.
I'm going for that. So that one I legit practiced before we came on today. I was like, oh my god, I don't want to butcher that one. But yeah, this is cool. Steve again isn't joining us tonight, but he is in the chat. He sent us a page. I'm sure he'll give us his score later on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what everyone thinks. In the chat so far, we have Liam. Howdy ho, hello. And he did say, I wonder whose Phil name could be a reference to. Who knows? His screen name at the moment is I Am Groot. No idea.
That's all the 3 words I want to say tonight, to be honest. I've already written that. Good.
And our guest of honor here, Steve, he's in the chat as well. Evening, chaps. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Everyone else who's in the chat, please get involved, even if it's just saying hi. Say it. Say it in whatever way you want, and we'll say hi back. Looking forward to chatting with you all. Okay, synopsis time. What was this book about? So, I've got it here. So, Pamela Isley has been a lot of things in her life. Isley? Are you going to correct me? Isley? Pamela Isley has been a lot of things in her life. A living god, a supervillain, an activist, a scientist, and a dead woman. In a new body that she didn't ask for, and with a renewed sense of purpose, Ivy leaves Gotham and sets out to complete her greatest work, a gift to the world that will heal the damage dealt to it by ending humanity. I'm loving these synopses lately. All of the ones we're reading, I'm just going dun 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 in my head. At the very end, they all sound dramatic, and I'm all for it, to be honest. Okay, Phil, it's been a while. Do you want to kick us off?
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Steve get the Herd's Choice the last time?
Yeah,
Daredevil?
2 in a row now, yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, so Daredevil's his first pick. Poison Ivy must be a second pick. But you know my history with DC. Every time I read a DC book, there's always some sort of history, something you need to know, some sort of crises or whatever. And there was to an extent. But that didn't stop me from liking this. This was really good. I genuinely thought this was great. Like, okay, so I've read Heroes in Crisis. Poison Ivy died. Spoilers. And then I read Fear State, and I don't know actually what happened with her in Fear State, but it seems she's come back to life in some way, shape, or form. and here we are now. So there is definitely that background knowledge you need to read this, but I still think you can enjoy this without that because it does well to kind of touch on a few things. But yeah, this is a horror book, isn't it? You agree with me? This is a horror story.
Borderline.
Yeah, like I thought this was great. I'm pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I would read and enjoy a Poison Ivy book, but here I am. I've read and I enjoyed the Poison Ivy book.
I had very much autumnal vibes.
Yeah,
But
this was
autumnal. Yeah. But it was that kind of
kind
of area. You know what I mean? Very new reader friendly. I thought. Definitely agree with that. I know nothing about Poison Ivy. Haven't read anything. I haven't really been inclined to, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I had a good time with this as well. Martin,
I'm the same. I really enjoyed this. I was a bit hesitant going into it because I've never sort of read anything by Willow Wilson. It's new. I know a lot of stuff gets heavily criticised, especially newer runs. But this was a curveball. Same with Phil. Like you need to have a little bit of backstory on this. I have not read anything Batman since Rebirth. I haven't read Heroes in Crisis, so that's news that she gets killed. But I didn't feel that stopped me from enjoying this. I just felt as if, okay, there's a little bit here. It dropped a little bit in the trade. Oh, you need to read Batman Fear State. Okay, fair enough. I'll come back to that. And then it just went off on its own, and
it's still a very
its own
self-contained story, isn't it? Like
yeah,
Flashpoint, for example, you had to have other knowledge through stuff at the same time as Flashpoint, whereas this was like, no, this is a Poison Ivy story, start, middle, and end, as she likes to say. Yes, there's prior knowledge, but you could easily read this and pick it up and go for it.
It grew into its own thing, didn't it?
Yeah,
and it was very quick out the gate. After that first issue, it was its own thing, which was nice.
Definitely.
And Shane.
Well, I love my DC girls, and
you do.
And I love anything that has to do with Harley, and of course, Ivy is a massive part of Harley's life. And I have the prior knowledge of Harley and Ivy, and Ivy dying and coming back, and what she's like. And for me, this felt like the writer actually likes the character she's writing, and you don't get that very often. So I appreciate that. Sometimes a writer is put on a book. They're just given a book. It's like you're really good at writing people with powers, so you're writing Superman or you're writing Wonder Woman. But this seems like maybe the writer chose this, or maybe asked for it, because her knowledge of Poison Ivy, of the character itself, comes through. And as a reader, it makes me enjoy it even more when I know the person writing it enjoyed it, and it wasn't just a job for them. Does that make sense? Like
100%.
You can feel the love coming through the page because they know the character. They know what the character will do and won't do. They know what they're like when they're on their own and what they're like when they're around people, because that's a very important thing, especially with Ivy, because she is a completely different person when she's with people. When she's with Harley Quinn, she's one way. When she's with normal people, she's one way. And when she's with like Batman villains and Batman heroes, she's a completely different way. So to see that in this book, and you do see it, especially in the issue where she helps the woman in her garden.
Yeah.
That shows just how much the writer actually knows and actually cares about Poison Ivy. And I felt I don't know, it just made me feel happy to know that someone actually cares. And I've been lacking it for so long. Like it warmed me. I'm going to start laughing. So just move on.
All right, let's say hi to Connie. Good evening. Hello, she says. I didn't read along because I have lost my reading sparkle, apparently. Aww. And I thought it was Tuesday till about 5 minutes ago. The bank holiday.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to text you like every single Monday just to remind you have 2 days. You have 1 day.
And we have Gareth Hatfield as well. He's joined. Yo, hey bud, thanks for joining. Nice to see you. Shane, reading this did make me think of you in terms of, lately you've been having a bad time with DC because you think that, you know, the more modern we're getting, it's just losing its feel, losing its vibe. So I thought, yeah, this is something Shane's going to enjoy, and I wanted to know, because I don't keep into the DC side of things apart from Flash. Does this come into, like, what are we on now? The dawn of DC or something like that? Is that
Yeah.
we had?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
is this part of this, or is this separate? Where is
Well,
this?
I think we're crossing
Well, it's
over.
hard, isn't it? Because because Harley has her own book, she has her own title in the Dawn of DC run, and then she's also in the Batman title, and now she's in this. It's like you just don't know where in the timelines this is happening. It would be helpful if every issue started with April 1st, 2023, just so you know what book to read next.
Yeah. Yeah, it just confused me with all the stuff like that, like, you know, New 52, Rebirth, now Dawn of DC, and all that kind of stuff. Where is this? When is this? Like, this book originally was published 2022, issue 1. But yeah, just confused me, that's all. But I was thinking of you the whole time, going, this may restore Shane's faith in some sort of DC writing, and it sounds like it has.
Same, because
Absolutely.
you do say, like, is it? You know, I think pre New 52 is where you're at. That's your favorite kind of era as a DC. So it's like thinking this could be. I was torn because I feel like Shane should like this, but then would he turn around and say no? It's not pre New 52. Do you know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
glad you enjoyed it.
This isn't my Ivy.
Yeah,
Turn around.
exactly. I don't know anything about Ivy before how she was before
Nah.
New 52, but certainly this iteration that I got today, like. Obviously, I've read, like, things like Hush, and she's been in other, like, books as a villain and, like, short cameos and stuff. But for me, like, this being my first Poison Ivy book, I'd consider this my Poison Ivy. You know, from here on in.
Would it be bold to say that we found a diamond in the rough?
Oh yeah, I would never looked at this in a million years. So I feel
No.
like we have found something pretty good.
An unsung book.
Yeah.
This book is also collected in hardcover, and go to our Instagram. We reposted Omni-Stee's story. He has the hardcover of this. He put a picture up earlier on today, and it's awesome. Looks so good. He's really good at taking moody pictures anyway, so it's like, yeah, it looks good. It looks the part. So this as a hardcover, if you enjoy this, and it sounds like we all do, this should be maybe something you put on your shelf and actually get it.
It's made me even think that with this being like almost like a reboot or a restart of Ivy, Poison Ivy, this could potentially be like an absolute edition. We make this in the bigger, oversized book. It's a start, middle, and end to something else better down the line, so to speak. So yeah, this art was great, by the way. The art was fantastic.
The art was so good.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, there's various artists doing stuff with this book. Like, we've got an appendix at the end that was totally different art to the rest of the book, but you can see now and again throughout the issues, the art style just tweaks now and again. But I wouldn't really, personally, I wouldn't really pick it up unless I was looking.
Really? Because I noticed it straight away. Like, with the backgrounds, I feel like they were done by a totally different person who did the people.
Okay.
And then Ivy in her, what she's projecting, her form, you know, her big goddess Ivy form, that felt like that was done by a completely different person. It didn't feel like it was all done by the same. It didn't feel like it was done by the same person.
It didn't feel out of place for me, like, in terms of I wasn't dry enough to notice the difference. But I think now you've said it, I kind of see that whenever you had those kind of like really artistic images of all, like, the fungi and the flowers and whatever else, like, yes, it was very different, like a real life thing. But I just assumed it was just the same artist, just drawn that purposely, because Ivy herself in the story has the what's it called, like the spores or whatever it's called inside her as well. So she's almost hallucinating. So I would assume that was part of, like, kind of like the planned story, but maybe it was a different artist.
I thought the same. I thought she was, every time it went into that psychotic dream state style thing, I thought that was the artist just switching his style, maybe.
Yeah. But I did notice a few panels, and maybe Shane, I'm sure Shane did, where there was dots for eyes and lines for mouths. There were a few panels like
Two
that.
dots and some lips.
Yeah, and when you notice it, you think, good God, just put a bit more detail into it. But throughout the whole art, whilst there must be some inconsistencies, I thought it was splendid. and it
I know,
suited
but-
the kind of horror theme almost.
But you don't have to do the 2 dots and a mouth and a slit mouth thing for the distance. Like, all you have to do is just turn the character's head so you can't see the face. That's all you have to do. You just have to turn the character to the side, and then it's not a problem. If there's no facial features on the side, they're looking away from you, it's fine. But when they're looking head on and it's just 2 dots and a mouth, it's just very off-putting.
It wasn't that often though. It's only a few panels.
A few is too many.
Okay.
A bit of an oversight for me, actually, going through the credits on these issues individually. The artist is actually Marcia Takara. And Danny is nowhere to be seen, and so I have no idea where
You
that
just
was.
made up a name.
No, like that name is in the main credits on the book. So, oh right, Danny. That's why Danny is the artist of the little prologue before issue 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that art was different. Yeah.
Yeah, that art's definitely different. All the others is Marcio Takara or Marcio Takara.
It's made me want to look and you know, not if I see this artist on books going forward, it would make me want to pick them up to check them out because I thought that was great.
100%, yeah, really good. So some pages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's show off why and how this art was so good. I've also got some variants as well if you want to have a look at those, because there were approximately about 5 million variants made for this story. So I'll just go from the list that I've got here. So we'll go with Shane first.
So I picked this page because not just because I know everyone's like, oh, but he picked it because Harley's on the page. It's not just because Harley's there. It's because of what it is. You know, like Ivy's with another woman, but she's writing her letter to Harley, and she says, "You might not believe me, but I was thinking about you the whole time." And it's just, it's not just Harley sitting in the corner while Pamela's getting it on with another woman. It's that she actually projects Harley's personality in the 3rd panel when she just waves. She's just there waving at him. And I was just like, as heartbreaking and as funny as it is, it signifies just how much she loves Harley, doesn't it? Like, you know, it doesn't matter where she is, doesn't matter who she's going to kill. She wants to destroy the entire world, but she's still thinking about Harley.
This
was also my pick.
Yep, same. Clearly a good page to pick. Martin, were you going to pick it at any point as well? Or?
I wasn't going to pick this. I went a little bit more colourful with mine.
All right, and let's see that then, shall we? Here we go.
Yeah. Not only do I think that Ivy just looks badass in this, I just love the color palette. The color palette of all the, you know, every color used was just stunning. Just stood out to me. Second I saw it, first read through, got to that page and went, click, I'm having that one.
So this page is from the point of view of the guy she's just poisoned, essentially, right? This is him hallucinating her as this.
Seeing her as she truly is. And she looks very cool.
Terrifying.
I love how the speech bubbles change as well whenever she's in this state.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the orange kind of gradient there or whatever. And yeah, I agree. This is great. The color's great, the kind of design, the kind of again, it's horror. Like it's pretty scary, you know. Yeah, big fan. Enjoy it. And this, like the glow of their eyes. Look at the eyes too. You know, it's great.
It's evil in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
My pick is very similar, I guess, but it's towards the end of the book where she. Was this your second pick, Martin? Yeah. It's at the end of the book where she actually does transform and look like this, you know, maniacal creature that we see throughout the book as hallucinations. So it's really cool to see her actualize that. And she's gone, yeah, you know what? I am this. Boof, you know, here I am. This is the monster that everyone's been seeing. I might as well make it real. And yeah, it was just such a cool kind of transformation, because at this point she was being forced to slit her own throat, wasn't she? and then she kind of went, no, not having any of this. Went into Super Saiyan, and this happened, and yeah, I really loved.
It's a love for Harley, isn't it? The thought of Harley being
Yes,
hurt and her
that's what it was.
rage of thinking you're going to hurt Harley, just, as you say, Super Saiyan'd it.
Went Super Saiyan.
She looks
Is
badass.
that an anime reference?
Dragon Ball Z, mate.
No.
Grow up. Anyway, let's go on to Phil's pick.
Yeah, this is the near the beginning where she just killed this innocent dude, essentially. And this is where I kind of thought, Christ, this is horror. This is not meant to be like a nice superhero, Poison Ivy, regular DC book. This is a horror book. Because the bottom 2 panels, the bottom 3 panels, they're pretty horrific when you see the guy just coughing up the blood and then just kind of transforming or whatever, all these mushrooms and things and disfiguration coming. It's just it's grim. It's scary. Like, and you mentioned the autumnal vibes. Like, I joked with autumnal saying it was a bit daft. This is almost what I would have expected in a horror book, like autumnal. This was great.
Yeah, it is cool. Very, like, I think of The Last of Us as well, the games and the TV show. That kind of gives me that vibe.
Yeah,
100%.
At this point as well, it's whenever you find out her motivation, so what she's trying to do as well. Like, she is essentially planning to kill everybody to save the Earth. It's just like, this guy wasn't. I mean, I know he's pointing a shotgun there at her, but he's an innocent guy essentially. Did she kill his cows? Is that what it was? Yeah, he was the farmer. He was a cattle owner, and she killed the cows. And it's just, this is bad. It was good.
So bad it was good. But in a good way, but in a bad way. Yeah. And we have our page pick from Steve. Steve chose his book for us to read today, and this is what he's chosen. A really simple, nice page. This is where Poison Ivy is helping the motel owner to kind of DIY SOS the garden, essentially, for the motel. And he says, just the fact that Ivy doing a bit of gardening made her happy and just forgot about everything in that moment. That's why he decided to pick this page. It's just, pure, this is like pure mindfulness, essentially, isn't it? It's just, because she even says it makes you forget about the world, and it's just, you just think this little area is your world. This little garden is your world. And I get it. It's quite humbling just to see her not think about, killing everyone on the planet. I like to think that this woman kind of got you get to go free. You can live. Everyone else dead.
Did you not find that this felt like a little mini arc that sort of took you out of what the book was actually doing and told you something very humble, very sort of like emotionally connected to Ivy before finishing the arc very quickly, snapping straight back into where he was, but it didn't feel disjointed. It was like an extra layer. It was a credit to the story.
It was needed for her character building, essentially. She had this motivation to kind of cleanse the Earth, and then she's starting to realize, people are actually okay. I think she says that the individuals are okay. As a collective, we're in the face of destructive species, but as individuals, there's good there. And the kind of what's the word? So all these interactions and just doing those things, like Scott mentioned, mindfulness, which is a pretty big thing for everyone. Should try it. It refocuses you essentially, and like she's also refocusing herself, thinking maybe not every human needs to die. Maybe she'll go after the ones who are actually causing the problem, which is essentially what her conclusion at the end. So these things are definitely needed. So it was a very different turn from the madness, just to do a bit of gardening, just to plant a few trees.
Yeah,
it was really good.
It was a bit of a palate cleanser for the reader as well. Yeah. Highland G is here. He says, "Hey guys," we say, "Hey Highland G." Gareth as well is saying, "Not sure I'm familiar with the artist. Might I know them from somewhere else?" He's liking the snippets. He hasn't read along, and that's totally fine. The reason we show the pages is to, if you haven't read along, it's maybe something to make you go and read it. So we're trying to
be fair, this artist I've never seen. Maybe I've seen the work, but I just can't put the name onto anything.
So I've done a little bit of Googling while you were talking. 2010 to 2011, he was working on Incorruptible with Boom Studios. And also in 2014, worked on Captain Marvel. And then his website is brilliant. Okay. It's literally the most minimalist thing. It literally just says, Marcio Takara has been working with comics since 2006. Recent projects, Wonder Woman and Poison Ivy for DC Comics. Marcio Takara loves Diet Coke. And that's it. And that's all he's written on his website. But I am posting a link now in the comments for everyone to have a look at. Most of his work is with DC, and he's done a lot of little bits here and there for DC over the years. But it seems like he's most proud of Poison Ivy at the moment. If you go on his Twitter, that's his profile picture of Poison Ivy. So there we go. So yeah, I haven't seen anything with him either. But yeah, maybe this is his big break. Maybe this is his up and coming thing. He's very talented.
I agree.
Yeah,
and it's things like this when you find an artist that, again, you don't know where they come from. You do hope they get, dare I say, better books, like the more mainstream kind of titles. Maybe he will end up in Batman or Superman. But then, did you mention Wonder Woman?
Yeah, it says on this website there's Wonder Woman as well.
Would that be the current run of Wonder Woman? I'm not sure. Not anyone knows. But
in this little list from that DC link I said, it said Wonder Woman Volume 2 Through a Glass Darkly. Wonder Woman issue 782. Wonder Woman 783. So yeah, are they new ones?
That's the latest.
Yeah, this hit 800 fairly recently, haven't they?
Oh, okay. So
Becky
yeah,
Becky Klugen
Clunan
run. Yeah, it's her run, I think.
Nice. All right. Okay, so story-wise, did anyone else feel like there was a bit of a, global reality check when reading this? Oh my god, reading this was like, I need to do better. Poison Ivy is going to kill me otherwise.
Like, I actually thought, is this going to be one of those books that's like lecturing us on, looking after the earth? But it really wasn't, in my opinion. It does make you think. Like, so they made a reference to the cows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they made reference to eating meat and vegans. Like, being a vegan, for example, can be more costly. And they mentioned it's for rich vegans, where in actual fact this is worse than eating meat, so to speak.
Yeah.
And like, it's one of those things, you just don't know what's right from wrong from what you're being told, like in real life or whatever else. And she mentioned something about cows. I remember hearing this line years ago. I don't know if this is true, it could be wrong, that the cows today aren't the original species of cows. They're gone. The original species of cows are long gone. So the cows we have today, they're all like genetically modified to become the cows we know. So she kind of alluded to this, the fact that like Earth has changed so much, and like the cows aren't the problem. They're literally bred to be ate at this point. But vegans aren't always the right answer, because what was it, the honey or something, or some sort of
avocados, honeys, almonds, they all kill insects.
They kill, but they kill all, they ruin the kind of all the insects, the bats. You mentioned the bats, they all die by farming these, which isn't the answer either. So yeah, it did make me think about our own personal choices. And
I roll my eyes at all that stuff every time I read that stuff. I'm like, I just roll my eyes. This planet is here to serve us. We're the dominant species. Get over it. I know, but I have no time for any of that nonsense.
But this book wasn't lecturing you, though.
No, that's why I was rolling my eyes every time she was like, humans are an invasive species. And I was like, no, it's evolution. We evolved. Get over it. I know you don't like it, but get over it. And then at the end of the book, she's like, no, they're not an invasive species. I was like, could have saved a couple of eye rolls if you said that in the first issue.
She does refer to there are people who are, as the guy that was Mr. Green or whatever he's called, like he was saying the world doesn't need saved, it needs a band-aid. This make billions by giving them the band-aid. So basically what she's saying, there are people in the world who are corrupt millionaires and billionaires who are ruining the earth. And that's what she's going after. So that's kind of made me think about that too. And I actually had this whole discussion with my wife, talking about like so you recycle, like I recycle my plastic and stuff, like you should do, like a good boy, right? Then you realize that plastic doesn't go where it's meant to go to be recycled properly. it ends up in the ocean somewhere else because some billionaire somewhere has decided it's cheaper to do that and I'll make more money this way. And this is all true. So this is she's getting that in this book, that there are people well above us.
I understand, and it's a great thing. Yes, obviously we want the planet to be here for the next generation, and of course it will be. But she's doing all the eco-terrorism stuff in America, or like in the Western part of the world, where the West adds maybe 3% of the global problems, the global pollution, the global plastic.
These countries.
No, but other countries literally just scoop their trash into the water and just send it out to sea. That's literally what they do. And so if Ivy went over there and sorted out those countries, then I'd be like, yeah. But constantly moaning and bitching in the countries in the Western world where it's not even a massive problem. And even if we stopped today, if we stopped breathing today, the global crisis would not change at all because we add less than 3% of the global problem of anything.
But this is what I think the book's saying is that we are sending our recycling or whatever to these countries to throw in the ocean. So like the America isn't as good as they think they are because they're not doing the right thing. That's why
I never looked into it so deep. I was like, Ivy's happy with meat eaters, so I'm quite happy eating my burgers and my steaks and my,
Steve has said
he's the same.
Steve said she's convinced me to stay a meat eater for sure. And,
I just love
getting to the end of that book.
Because everyone assumes she's a vegetarian, but then that would make no sense because she loves plants. So why would she eat them? Exactly.
It
makes no sense. But every time in like the animated series and stuff, you'd see her eating a salad, and it's like, well, I know it's the animated series, but she's eating salad. She should be eating like a nice bloody steak.
Is Poison Ivy one of those people that when they order a burger, they say no salad, no, I just want the meat and I want the bread. That's it.
No, she wouldn't even have the bread because you have to grow the wheat for the bread.
Uh-oh, mate.
She literally just has meat.
Wheat's not green, does it count?
It still grows, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's grain, but it still grows.
Oh, that was deep.
But this is the thing I was trying to say about the writer. Like, is either they know this stuff, they have an opinion on this stuff, or they've actually looked into it, that they're actually put it into the book, which is for the character like Poison Ivy, who you refer to as an eco-terrorist, whatever. Like, this is what she wants to do better for the Earth. So it's good that she actually looked this up, or she knew about it.
Yeah, and that's when Ivy works best, is when she's going after like CEOs and stuff. You know, the ones that are purposefully putting their toxic waste in rivers and swamps and stuff. That's when Ivy works the best, because the small personal stories where she really gets to make a difference. Because, I mean, in all fairness, we know that she's not going to destroy the world in this book, and we also know she's not going to save it. But if she was going after a CEO, we know she's going to get revenge on that CEO by the end of the book. So you get that bit of satisfaction at the end when the CEO, like, she walks away and the CEO guy's standing behind her and he's now a tree. He's like grown into a tree. That's the sort of thing that she does.
See, this made me wonder too. So for the last while, you've had the Poison Ivy Harley Quinn love story, and it's great, but it's hard to see them as villains at times. So are they anti-heroes now, or is she an anti-hero? Because the way I see it, if a billionaire CEO who may be destroying the Earth is turned into a tree, I would like to think Batman, for example, is still going to try and stop her. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to let it happen. So she's almost become the anti-hero stroke villain. Do you know what I mean? And she's still doing
down to the writer.
Yeah.
It all depends on the writer.
Ivy and Harley are willing to go that further step that, you know, Batman doesn't allow.
Yeah.
So you are in the villainous territory, but also you are right. It does touch upon anti-hero as well. So.
But this is I don't want to see a Poison Ivy book where she just goes and kills all the you know, the ones who dump their toxic waste. I want her to see her up against, you know, Batman or Nightwing or something, because they're trying to stop her doing that. You know.
Well, they would have stopped her in this book because she was just killing civilians. You know.
Yeah.
One after the next.
She thought Batman was following her at one point, and even when she was thinking Batman was there, Batman was talking to her. I thought that was great. Yeah, it was good.
The Batman Poison Ivy buddy cop movie, that was just like, that's what I was a bit gutted, because whenever they have a Batman villain in their own book, Batman always pops up. So I was a bit like, oh, of course Batman has to pop up. Why can't he just let them have their own book for a while? But then when you realize, oh, it's just her version of him.
Yeah. It's like,
And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's all in her head. She knows she's doing wrong. Batman's going to come at some point. He is coming for me. She knows it, and that's why he's in her head, which is great.
It'd be like
So
the
Batman
devil on the
should be in
shoulder.
your
It would
head.
be Batman and Harley would be the devil and the angel on her shoulder. Yeah.
Like a little Batman chibi on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Let's get Kev to draw that. Oh my god, little Batman kitties. Yeah, like even though, you know, I rolled my eyes. Oh, here he is again, Batman popping up in a book. It made sense. Yeah, it did make sense for him to come up. You know, he was there as the manifestation of a conscious, wasn't it? Really, and it was, you know, it was cool, but it was interesting because the kind of language he was using isn't Batman language.
Yeah.
You know, it was if
Goofy.
Poison Ivy was just talking through him.
Yeah.
And I like
slightly comedic, wasn't
Yeah.
it? In
Yeah,
places.
yeah.
See, as a big Batman fan, I love that because that's what Batman wants. He wants you to think about him whenever you know you're committing a crime in the hope that you don't commit that crime. So it works. Batman's the fear. Everyone should fear Batman. And here we go. Poison Ivy clearly does. Well, to a certain extent, she's still doing her thing, but she also thought she was going to end the world and herself doing it.
Yeah. What did you think about the well, I quite liked when she got a job. I quite liked that bit. And it was very clever. It was like, oh, Ivy gets a job. Okay, we're just gonna have a whole issue of her just packing boxes, and then obviously
Just working at the Amazon warehouse.
I know. And then you know exactly that. Oh, that's why she's there, for the distribution of her her toxins.
Yeah.
Such a clever idea.
So clever, like deviously clever.
Yeah, really good. And then, but it was just like, you know, at first I'm going, what's she getting a job for? And then you see why, and you're like, haha, okay, I gotcha. And then, but then they only have like 2 other characters in there. I'm like, how big is this warehouse, or how little is this warehouse to have just 2 employees there? Or they all left because the manager there was so bad because he was what? Was he like
Pansy McGee?
Yeah,
She's only there like half an hour, and she's killed the boss and sleeping with her colleague. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like
Harley's
employee of the month.
Yeah. And the guy, bless him, was like, yeah, don't worry about me. I've got this. I'll handle all this. You guys go have some fun.
But the other part about that too, we're talking about like the CEOs being like the real criminals and stuff. Like even the fact that the writer referred to the fact that, okay, you're standing in this job. If you need to pee into a bottle. If you need to poo, wait till you get home. Like, just these are the conditions I can imagine people are working in these warehouses because the CEOs are so greedy. And it is quite clever and funny. And it's like, you're right, this is probably real stuff. So yeah, kudos to G. Willow Wilson.
I didn't see how his kind of greediness there kind of went against Ivy's goals. Yeah, he was a bit, you know, assaulty with the women, but in terms of her actual goals of, you know, saving the planet and all that, I don't see. Was she just annoyed at the fact that he was assaulting staff?
Well, yeah,
I seen that as like she's gradually coming around to the idea that people are actually nice and this person's nice. I like her, so don't do that.
Yeah,
and even like the guy who was kind of like assaulting the employee, like he himself said, "I'm also in this same trap, so to speak. I tried to be their friend. They wouldn't let me. I'm still under pressure." And I'm not excluding or excusing what he done, but like you almost feel bad for him for a split second because like he is also a pleb in the warehouse. You know,
great word.
The only time I felt bad for him was when Ivy kicked him straight through the door because I thought that must have hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hell of a kick as well. Like it's bad when there's speed lines drawn into it.
That's why I want to ask, Shane, does Poison Ivy actually have like super strength? Like, is she meant to be that strong? Can she fight?
Well, here's the thing, because obviously she's gone through many iterations. She went from having her vine powers, as you know, like she can control plants and make them grow fast and communicate with them, and then they made her the attaché of the green Basically, they swapped out Swamp Thing for a while. So Poison Ivy was the one that could communicate with the Green. And I didn't really like that. They made her too powerful, too important. I don't mean that in a nasty way. She's very important. But I mean, that was Swamp Thing's thing.
Yeah,
And they made her, they made her the Green. Like, she had control of the Green. And she was super powerful then. But before then, she didn't really fight Batman. I mean, she couldn't. It was all vines, and she would use in people that were enchanted by her. She's
mind control
pheromones and stuff.
Yeah, it's normal strength, normal body. Like, however big she is, that's how strong she'll be. She did enhance Harley, when she first met her. She made Harley immune to all toxins and poisons, and then also pretty much gave Harley the super soldier serum and made her as strong as a female could be, basically. So next time Harley fought Batman, she was able to block his punches and stuff.
So you've just answered a big thing I've always had with Harley Quinn, because we mentioned Heroes in Crisis. That's where Poison Ivy died. One of the reasons why I didn't like that initially, that story, is because there was a scene where Wally West was doing his little swimming around thing, and Harley Quinn, after him because he killed Poison Ivy, hits him with her mallet. Like, this was just a speedster. She's able to kind of correctly, hit him on the head with a mallet. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, that shouldn't happen to Wally West or any Flash. So maybe the fact she has that super strength, that super...
She's pretty much Captain America.
Yeah.
Whatever
so
Captain America's level is, that's what Harley is.
That's answered a lot of questions I've had for Harley Quinn.
She's like that still?
Well, they haven't mentioned her not being like that in the New 52.
Yeah.
But it's possible she's not anymore. But that's how her and Ivy met when the Joker kicked her out. Had tied her to a rocket and sent her to Gotham Park to kill her.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Anything else from anyone?
This is a love story. I mean, we all loved the love story part of it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, this just goes to show, like, just how much of an impact Harley has had on her, because she's always been alone, Ivy. She never had friends. The only time she worked with the villains is when they needed her or when she needed them, but she's not friends with any of them. But her and Harley, I mean, it's rubbed off on her. Poison Ivy never would have helped people. She would have seen that guy grabbing the other worker at the workplace and been like, not my problem. I'm not here for that. I'm here to spread my spores. But because of Harley, because she knows Harley would have gone over there, she wouldn't even have waited till later. Harley would have just broke his nose in front of everyone there. So she's really rubbed off on her, and she's become this more likable, well-rounded character thanks to Harley. And yes, I know you're all thinking, oh, he loves Harley so much, he's going to big up Harley in an Ivy book. But yeah, I am.
You're correct.
Do you not
this
find
book only exists because of Harley Quinn.
Do you not find it was nice to have Harley sprinkled throughout this book without having her on the page?
Yep.
And do you notice how the colors just exploded? Like how bright the pages were with Harley on them. Like, it just shows she sees the world differently when she's with Harley than when she's on her own. The world is brighter when she's with Harley.
And I did like that variation of Harley in sort of her dream.
Oh, the jester gown.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. A really nice design choice.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. I just think it's just beautiful. And the fact that the whole book is her writing a letter to Harley to just explain things and just tell her what she's doing, how she's feeling, why she's doing this. And then right at the end, she's like, I'm not asking you to choose, but I can't be there. I can't do what you're doing. Just know that I love you now and I will love you forever till the end of time. And it's just like, but how Harley's like, right, I'm going to see my babe. She just put that letter down. She's like, I'm on my way, babe. Don't worry.
Yeah.
See you soon. I'm coming.
To
hell with these guys in Gotham. Where you at, girl?
See, which I think is actually quite sad because, again, being biased towards Batman, like, she's in the Batman book and her and Batman have a really good relationship, at the minute. And it's a really nice, wholesome, Batman helps Harley Quinn essentially a lot. And she's now kind of, what's the word? Not dedicated, like she's in his debt almost. She wants to help him for the sake of wanting to help Batman now. And I like that. So I hope I'm a bit behind on Batman, so I don't know if she's left the book already or whatever. But I like her in Gotham, but she belongs with Poison Ivy clearly.
Well, it
I think
seems
she'll
like
probably be in all of them. She's in her own title as well, so
DC are invested in this because it's already solicited to issue 17 coming out in December, and the volume 2 hardcover comes out in November. So we're going to get
Different
a few more
artists,
couple of
though.
volumes.
Is it?
Is it?
Different artist, yeah. Atigan Ilhan.
Oh,
Yeah. Don't know. I've never heard of them, and I don't know what they do. Wikipedia is showing me nothing. 'Cause that's where I get all of my very valuable information from.
But then, is it a
yeah.
case where maybe they've got like the Takara person will come back after that volume? Because sometimes that happens if they want to,
Maybe.
switch around just per volume. Because now that this art's like this is the benchmark for this book, this next artist either has to really go well above it. Even if it's the same, it's not the same, it's below. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like this is the benchmark for me. So hopefully the artist, if we do read on, isn't too different. Like this was good.
I am actually pleased there's more.
Yeah.
Really pleased with that. Steve has said it was meant to be a mini, but he got extended to a full run. And I can see why.
This does seem to be DC's tactic at the moment. I think they go out with the attitude of doing a mini or a maxi and seeing if it picks up, sales do well, and then they extend it. Because I know they extended the Green Arrow series. It was supposed to be a 6 and then got extended to a 12. So I think
that's
it's
what they
just
should do.
they're testing the water with certain things.
That's what they should do. It makes sense.
Shane, tell me if I'm. I mean, I don't know if this is true. I'm just looking on the ZLZ app, and this says this is Poison Ivy Volume 1. Is this the first solo Poison Ivy run? Like, I know she's had mini-series and stuff,
but
is this the first main run?
First main run.
Yeah.
There was a mini series called Circle of Life and Death. I think that was a 6-issue mini series.
I've never seen this Volume 1, so it's like that's interesting. And just to confirm, issue 13, which would be the start of Volume 3, is Takara again.
Cool.
He's back.
Cool. Okay. Nice. I've just looked at the cover as well for Volume 2. I don't know if it's the same artist that's doing the interiors, but looks good. Looks good. There is that risk, though, isn't it? Like, if this was going to be a mini, and then, they had this awesome story that we've all read and we've all enjoyed, and it's gone, okay, do more now. And you're like, okay, do it. Like, usually people plan stories for, if you're going to get given, right, do 18 issues. Okay, I'll plan for 18 issues. You do 6, and then they go, right, more. And you're like, on what? Okay, what have I just included in my original plan, and what can I expand on, and what can I do with that? And I'm hoping G. Willow Wilson as a writer has the kind of skills and know how to keep it all up to that level.
Yeah,
And
I haven't read much of G. Willow Wilson, but it's a name I've seen for a long time, so I'm assuming she's got the experience or whatever to kind of do that, to keep this run going for a long time.
I'm just a little worried on how she's going to write Harley.
Well,
that's
in issue
all I'm
13,
about.
The cover of issue 13, which I'm looking at the minute on my phone, is called Date Night, and the cover is her, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy on a date by Gotham with the bat signal stuff. It looks really cool as a cover. And
but it's how she's going to write the character of
Harley.
You have to be careful. You can't make her just a carbon copy of the Joker. You can't make her Deadpool. You have to make her her own thing. Can I ask what everyone thought of Dr. Woodrow, the Floronic Man, as a bad guy?
Very unique. I was surprised. And menacing as well.
I don't know who he is. I actually thought, who I first thought it was? Remember the Batman movie with Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy? Wasn't she turned by? Or no, she wasn't. I was thinking of your guy who played the Riddler.
Yep.
At the start.
Oh no,
that's how I thought it was. What's his name? I know he's the Riddler. What's his actual name? Edward Nygma.
Edward Nygma.
Jim Carrey.
That's who I thought this was. I know. That's who I thought that was the book initially until she mentioned his name. I was like, all right, okay, so it's not Edward Nygma.
I assumed it was the same doctor that was in the same film, but that doctor at the start I think he was played by the guy who plays Lionel Luthor in
Yes.
Smallville. He was like a mad scientist with her in the jungle when I assumed that was some form of connection to the character.
Yeah.
Well,
Shane will know more.
Dr. Woodrow is the Swamp Thing villain. Is the Floronic Man. He's
Okay.
actually got the plant powers like Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing, and he wants to take control of the Green.
There we go. Didn't know.
Oh.
It was interesting though. That's why I have my name as I Am Groot, because he looked like an evil version of Groot, to be honest. When he transformed into.
To be fair, I thought the same. And there's like what the cover of him front and center, and he's ripping up that photo of Ivy and Harley.
Yeah.
There's just Groot.
Yeah.
It's
I
not.
agree.
Yeah. But anyway,
Very menacing looking Groot, but yes.
Yeah, very evil Groot. I can actually speak.
Just to answer your question from earlier, Scott, again, looking at the current issues of Poison Ivy, it's under the banner of Dawn of DC. So it must be current.
Oh, okay.
Set in current times.
Cool. Okay, that's good to know. It's good to know. I just assumed we would just see the big Dawn of DC thing at the top of the book. Like
I don't think that started till this year, though, did it?
Yeah, it was 2023. So this,
start of the year.
Right. Okay. All right.
Can we have a look at some beautiful variant covers before we do?
All right.
Do final thoughts on scores?
Doesn't take much
if we have to.
twist my
If we
arm.
have
And, yeah, look at him. Look how excited he is. Okay, here we go. So I've taken some screenshots of. Right, it's not going to be like how we usually do it, because sometimes the books we have will just have it as a full page. Because there were so many variants with this, they just included, 4 on one page kind of thing. So I've got a few. Okay, so here we go. There it is. Okay, so there's some to get us started.
The Frank Cho cover is stunning.
Yes.
Which one's that one?
Mora's
the
one as
right.
well.
Top right. This is the thing is, this part is brilliant for the podcast listeners. My favorite one on this one in the bottom one there, the third one across is the Dan Mora one. That is a blown up version of that is on the inside of the trade. That's like the credits page of the trade. So I think because it's laid out so well, and if you go back to it, if you look at that in the trade, then you'll see why. But yeah, there's some stunning ones there.
Yeah, the Frank Cho is my personal favorite, to be honest.
I actually like Zoe Thorogood's one in the bottom left. That's very simple but really nice. I like that.
She's been doing very well recently for that book she wrote. Was it It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth?
Yeah.
Next one. We'll look at another one.
Yes.
Oh, the Cersei. Yeah, the Cersei one, definitely.
Jenny Frison as well there.
Jenny Frison's my one. That's my favourite cover. Love Jenny Frison.
Like the Womanly Crew, but how hot is Poison Ivy? Like,
it's amazing.
Yeah, stunning.
And for anyone that is listening, I just want everyone to know that issue 1 got 24 variants.
Yeah.
What?
This run.
Wow.
24.
Wait a minute, this isn't Marvel. This is DC. They don't, Marvel do all the variants, not DC.
Shane, do you have all them, Shane, or
not yet?
I don't. Not yet. Yeah, not yet. Working my way.
There are definitely a few, at least one in 100 incentive cover with this as well. So good luck finding that. And here's the last one.
Another Jenny Frison.
There's a Warren Lowe one there in the bottom.
I can't pronounce his name. Is it Steve? Stephen?
Steve, Steve.
Yeah, that's a stunning cover.
That's the one who done that. Harleen book. And the art of that Harleen book was super.
Oh, yes. Is it Spade?
There was rumors that he was meant to do a Poison Ivy book, which we never got because he left DC.
And that's what it would have looked like.
Yeah.
Because she looked gorgeous in that book, didn't she?
Yeah.
Ivy. The actress who played her as well is stunning in the Batwoman series. I know that series is absolute garbage, but the actress who plays Poison Ivy, hot.
I can't replace Uma Thurman. I'm sorry. That's
Would anyone want to replace Uma Thurman? I mean, fantastic. I mean, so cheesy, so campy. It was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, it's that time of the night now. We are going to go on to our Final thoughts and scores. It's time for that verdict. So if you've read along, and it sounds like a couple of you have, please give a score in the chat. We'll add it together to give you an average, and we'll add it to ours to get the overall score to see if it goes on the top 10. It's tough to get there at the moment, but let's see if it can do it. Martin, we'll start with you if you would like to, please.
Knew you were going to hit me first with this. To be honest, this completely caught me off guard. I was expecting a bit of an average story from this, but I have to admit I'm pretty blown away and looking forward to carrying on. The art style was fantastic, which we've discussed and gushed over for the past hour. I really enjoyed the whole letter writing side of this story because it just added a little bit of, a little bit of passion to it. And, this is such a little gem. As I said earlier on, it's a diamond in the rough. I'm going to be for a bold book, I'm going to give it a bold score because I enjoyed it that much. So I'm going to give this an 8.
Nice. Okay.
I want this. It's going to be on my shelf soon.
I want it as well. And the fact that it said that there's an issue 2 and we know it's, a volume 2 and we know it's going to go to 17 issues. I want it. I want to carry on. Phil.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments that I would never look at a Poison Ivy book. I just wouldn't, through my own kind of bias or ignorance, whatever. But it just wouldn't interest me. Obviously, it didn't because it came out in August 2022, and I didn't ever think about picking it up. So well done, Steve, because this has made me want to pick this up, carry on, read on. Hopefully, it continues the same vein, the same level we've had here. Yeah, there are a few inconsistencies with the art, and there are some parts in terms of like you need to have a bit of knowledge prior to it, which does mark it down for a bit, not massively. And I have 2 scores written down, and I think I go for the higher one, to be honest. Just have enjoyed this chat. I think I've enjoyed it more talking about it. The art's splendid. Overall, I guess there's some inconsistency, but it's really good. Yeah, I'm becoming a Poison Ivy fan. And it's making me want to spend some money on books. So thanks, Steve, for that. Yeah, 2 scores written down, 7.5 and an 8. I'm going to go with 8. I'm going to match Martin's 8.
Awesome. All right, nice. Shane, over to you.
I wasn't looking forward to this because I haven't enjoyed Poison Ivy since the New 52 started and rebooted her and changed her. Like I said, I was dreading it because I preferred to keep my memory of a character untainted by not reading present day stuff. But this was quite enjoyable for Poison Ivy. It brought her back to who I remember her being. I remember her with this drive and this pain and this love. I remember this. So this felt like this was written for me. It felt like an apology from DC to me. Like she was writing to me, so I appreciate that.
Didn't you see that on the front of the book? There was a foreword saying, "Dear Shane, we
there
apologize."
is now. I wrote it in Sharpie. But yeah, I did enjoy this. I think this just it blew my expectations away because I didn't really have any, unfortunately, and that's what comics have done to me. They've made my expectations this low. So when a book comes along that I really enjoy, explosions. So yeah, I'm going to give this an 8 as well because I think this is something that you should read even if you're not a Poison Ivy fan. I think you should give this a go.
Yeah, totally. 2 scores in the chat so far. I feel like that's what we're going to get based on the chat we've had today. So that's fine. That's what we got. So this book pleasantly surprised me. Again, not having a clue what I was getting myself into. I just knew Poison Ivy was on the front cover and I was going to read something. It was very, environmentally focused, global warming, all this kind of, veganism, all this kind of stuff. It really touched on some modern issues and themes. And I quite like that when a book does that kind of, for a present time, you go, yes, this writer knows what's going on in the world and stuff like that. But then it's also good when you read this 10, 20 years in the future and people can go, oh, so that's what was going on in the world. The art was stunning. Poison Ivy was lush as a character. Loved the Super Saiyan moment. You could really feel the kind of emotion she was going for there. Really, really enjoyed it. Steve, in my opinion, has done it again with making me want to buy things, same as Phil. When he picked Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky, the last one he chose, I'm now keeping my eye out for the Omni that's coming out next year. And I'm now definitely going to hope that they do an overall collection of the 17 issues that they've solicited for this story. Steve, you've knocked it out the park again. And you know what, boys? This is the first time in a long time where we've all got the same score. I'm also going for an 8 tonight. So there we go. 8s across the board. How amazing is that? So we've got 2 scores in the chat. We've got one from Liam. He says, I'm too tired to think of words, so just have my numbers. 7.5 out of 10.
Should have said it. Come on, Liam, let me say.
And then Steve has said, the man who's picked the book, 8 out of 10 for me. Really enjoyed the story and the art. He can't wait for the next volume. Yeah, same. Totally agree. So, scores on the doors. We have 2 scores in the chat. That gives us an average of 7.8. Oh, Liam has said he's upping it to an 8. We're taking his first score. Take his first score. 7.8. That's the average we have for the audience. Adding that on to Phil's 8, Shane's 8, Martin's 8, my 8. That gives us an average of 8 out of 10.
Yay.
Yay.
So here we go. So where does it go on the leaderboard then? For anyone who hasn't been here in a while or this is their first time coming, here is the top 10. Does it land? Nope. We still need an 8.3 or higher for it to land on that top 10 picture we've got there. So where does an 8 out of 10 come? Joint 7th with Thanos Wins. 8 out of 10. Just underneath Batwoman. Just underneath Batwoman, Elegy, and just above Fantastic Four Full Circle and Daredevil Volume 1, No Fear. Also chosen by Steve. So he's pretty consistent. He's good for 8 out of 10 books at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah,
solid score for a solid book.
Exactly. Can't wait to see what he's going to pick on the next Herd's Choice.
Pressure's on now. He has to deliver. Anything less than it, he should be banned from ever picking again.
Okay, so what do we have coming up on the Nerd Herd channel this week? Shane, what do you have coming up?
Martin and I were going to do showcase tomorrow, but unfortunately we've had to push it back to Monday. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. It's still coming up in the next week before we do our next show. So Monday, and what are you focusing on this time?
We'll be just focusing on swimsuit covers.
Nice.
Sexy ladies, sexy men on the cover of a comic book with everything out for you to see. Not everything, they'll be covered.
Phil, put your eyebrows down.
That's my interest.
Awesome. Well, if that interests you, go and find that. Do you know what time it will come out on Monday?
We're aiming for 9:30. Yes, Martin?
Yeah.
Okay, 9:30 live on the dot on the Nerd Herd channel for that. And as usual, Kevin has done us a fantastic drawing. I'm going to do the joke I did last time because this week we've been talking about Poison Ivy. He has done us a drawing of, and you've guessed it, Captain America. Here we go. So how to draw Captain America there. That's a really, really cool looking Captain America. It's kind of like in this front leaning running pose. Really, really good. And then we've got little Captain Kev there in the bottom.
Little K on his forehead.
Little K on his
Love
head.
it.
What a guy. What a guy. But that's not all you're here for. You also want to know what we got coming up next week. And it's the start of our final wave of the season. And it's Phil's pick. Let's find out what it is. Here we go. Come on in, Phil. Tell everyone what we got.
Well, this is my final chance to take the top spot on the leaderboard. Will it do it? Who knows? It's 1995. It's Vertigo Comics. It's Garth Ennis. It's Preacher. Volume 1, issues 1 to 7. Next week. Can't wait.
Awesome. That's going to be really good. I've heard a lot of good things, and I'm hoping it'll do as well as people say it is.
I think
He's
it will
gonna
either
bloody
blow
do
your
it
mind.
again, isn't he? Bill's
Well,
going to do
Bill-
it again with his final pick. He's going to take that bloody
That would
shotgun. Bloody,
awesome.
bloody sod.
Ace up the sleeve again, isn't it? That's what it is.
Ace up the sleeve. But there we go. That's it from us. We'll see you next week. If you want to see some showcases, see some cool covers, go and see Shane and Martin on Monday. If you want to draw some stuff, go and look at Kev's videos. Or if you just want to read some books and talk to us about it, then we'll see you next Wednesday. 9:30 on the dot. One more thing to do. Get your waves out.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Love you.